Hello all, it's all here, back with another rune guide video, and today's rune guide video is on Hwadam, the Taoist. Now we're going to go through her best runes for early, mid and late game, what her stones do and which one's the best one, and then we're going to go for the team ups, which people you need to team up to level up your Hwadam. So before we jump into it, let's have a look at what her attack does. So Hwadam's attack is called Thunder Soul. It attacks the backline enemies and grants attack down 2. Stuns the target if the target has deceleration debuff on them. So that is her attack. So let's jump into the early game. When you first get Hwadam in the early stages of the game, you want to be equipping the Swift rune on her. This drops her 4 cost mana to a 3 cost mana when the first time you use her, and this is just to make sure you get her attack off when you need to and do as much damage as possible, and possibly stun them if you've got the right team up to give you the advantage in the battle. So now you've done early game, let's mid game. Okay, now we've gone through the mid game and we've unlocked both sets of runes. You want to start equipping her with the Blade rune, which gives her an extra 20% crit rate, and then keeping your Swift runes on the secondary to lower that mana cost down on the first go. Now Blade is actually useful because she hits the entire back row, so you want to be having the Blade with the substats of more crit rate and crit damage. This is to maximize her damage output hitting that back row. So let's move on to the late game stage. Okay, so now at the late game where we've got all of the runes available to us, you want to be equipping the Violent rune and Penetration rune to your Hwadam to maximize her damage output. So you've got Violent, which gives you the 30% card back, and Penetration gives you 10% more penetration. You're going to want the substats on there for crit rate, crit damage and penetration if you can get there on there, but this build is purely so you can really hit the back team really hard, and with the special team ups that we'll do later on in the video, you'll be able to stun them as well, and it will just take the backline out of the equation. However, if you do have her legendary stone, you do want to equip her with HP, which is the energy rune, giving her 15% max HP, and the blessing, which decreases the crit damage taken by 25%, but we'll cover that later on in the video in more detail as to why that is important. But if you're going to go for a damage Hwadam, Violent and Penetration is the one that you want to go. So, speaking about legendary stones, let's move on to her stones. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the stones and which one's the best. Going to go through the rarity order first and what they do. So first of all, you've got her grey stone, and that increases the attack down duration of the Thunderbolt soul by an extra 3 seconds. So the enemy in the back row can't attack as hard as they should do for an extra 3 seconds. It's a great one to start off with early game. If you got it, equip it, but there are better ones for her. Let's move on to the green stone. So the green stone increases the damage of the Thunderbolt soul by 15%. So if you do have this one, this is better than the grey one, so you want to equip this early to mid game, as this is one of her better stones, although this is the best stone if you're going to go for an attacking Hwadam. So let's move on to the legendary stone. It is called Secretive Guard, and it is a passive ability. If another ally receives an attack that may cause death, resists the death, and shares 30% of max HP, the effect is not activated if your max HP is 40% or lower. If multiple targets are defeated at the same time, then the forefront ally will become the target. A cooldown does exist. So this is how you use Hwadam. If you've got her legendary stone, you need to equip the HP runes on her to give her that max HP. You need to give her blessing to make sure she doesn't get any crits on her from backline attackers, because that's where you're going to want to have her. And you want to make sure you have so much HP on her so she can keep reviving that front person. Also, having the legendary stone with Hwadam, it does mean that you can team up with Verdihel legendary stone if you've got them, as you have the battle, as Verdihel gets knocked down to less and less health and dies, it actually, Hwadam's legendary stone kicks in first, so it takes the health off of Hwadam before taking health off the front line, which would be Verdihel's legendary stone. Once Hwadam's low health, Verdihel's legendary stone will kick in and start taking health from the front row. So you want to make sure you're having the new mage, which boosts up HP, or you want to be having the legendary Belladon in there to making sure that everyone's health is tight and topped up. There is another question whether you have Hwadam and Kuman's immortal legendary stone with Verdihel, who takes over each what, but I believe that Hwadam's legendary stone takes priority in those situations. I could be wrong, hit me down in the comments box if you know otherwise, but that is why her legendary stone is good. It gives you a super sustain team, especially if you've got Verdihel with his golden stone or Kuman with his golden immortal stone as well. So now we've done stones, let's move on to who is best to team up with Hwadam. To the team ups then with Hwadam, we're going to go the speed and stun one. So this is going to team up with people like Poseidon, Ganymede, Tableau and the chill spell. All of those people do deceleration to the enemy team, leaving you then to use Hwadam to hit them and stun the back row. So you've also got the low health attackers, so you can use a Hwadam followed by a Hwa as it attacks the lowest health, or you've got the fire monkey, depending which one you have high or your preference, but Hwadam can be the starter of that one as well. Hit the back line, finish them off with the low HP attackers. Thirdly, we have got the backline killer combo. So we have got the Nikki and the Hwadam. Nikki debuffs them and puts the teddy on. Once the teddy bear hits them, hit them with Hwadam to finish them off. Or you've got the new guy Magnum, pick a target from the back row, make sure he lands the hit, and then finish him off with Hwadam. Backline killers, that one you get a bit more choice on there. So they're the best team ups for Hwadam. Now you know what's the best runes to equip your Hwadam to level her up. You know what stones to use to make sure you get the best out of her, and what team ups to put with her to maximize the best of her attacks. So that's Hwadam. However, if you check out this video here, it will also help you level up your Hwadam, which is a low health attacker, which is definitely a perfect match for a hard hitting Hwadam. Thanks for watching.